What really happened during the final hours of Jesus Christ's life? The Gospel of Luke explains. The crucifixion and death of Jesus Christ. The Jewish leaders, they accused him of claiming to be a king, which they spun as a threat to Roman authority. The Jewish leaders couldn't execute anyone themselves under Roman law, so they needed Pilate to sentence Jesus to death. Pilate called together the leading priests and other religious leaders, along with the people, and he announced his verdict.
You brought this man to me, accusing him of leading a revolt. I have examined him thoroughly on this point in your presence and find him innocent. Herod came to the same conclusion and sent him back to us. Nothing this man has done calls for the death penalty, so I will have him flogged, and then I will release him.
Then a mighty roar rose from the crowd, and with one voice they shouted,
Kill him and release Barabbas to us.
Barabbas was in prison for taking part in an insurrection in Jerusalem against the government, and for murder. Pilate argued with them because he wanted to release Jesus, but they kept shouting,
Crucify him! Crucify him!
For the third time he demanded,
Why? What crime has he committed? I have found no reason to sentence him to death, so I will have him flogged, and then I will release him.
But the mob shouted louder and louder, demanding that Jesus be crucified, and their voices prevailed. So Pilate sentenced Jesus to die as they demanded. As they had requested, he released Barabbas, the man in prison for insurrection and murder. But he turned Jesus over to them to do as they wished. As they led Jesus away, a man named Simon, who was from Cyrene, happened to be coming in from the countryside. The soldiers seized him and put the cross on him, and made him carry it behind Jesus. A large crowd trailed behind, including many grief-stricken women. But Jesus turned and said to them,
Daughters of Jerusalem, don't weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For the days are coming when they will say, Fortunate indeed are the women who are childless, the wombs that have not borne a child, and the breasts that have never nursed. People will beg the mountains, fall on us, and plead with the hills, bury us. For if these things are done when the tree is green, what will happen when it is dry?
2 others, both criminals, were led out to be executed with him. When they came to a place called the Skull, they nailed him to the cross, and the criminals were also crucified, one on his right and one on his left. Jesus said,
Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing.
And the soldiers gambled for his clothes by throwing dice. The crowd watched, and the leaders scoffed.
He saved others.
They said,
Let him save himself if he is really God's Messiah, the chosen one.
The soldiers mocked him too by offering him a drink of sour wine. They called out to him,
If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself.
A sign was fastened above him with these words, This is the King of the Jews. One of the criminals hanging beside him scoffed.
So you're the Messiah, are you? Prove it by saving yourself, and us too, while you're at it.
But the other criminal protested.
Don't you fear God, even when you have been sentenced to die? We deserve to die for our crimes, but this man hasn't done anything wrong.
Then he said,
Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom.
And Jesus replied,
I assure you, today you will be with me in paradise.
By this time it was about noon, and darkness fell across the whole land until 3 o'clock. The light from the sun was gone, and suddenly, the curtain in the sanctuary of the temple was torn down the middle. Then Jesus shouted,
Father, I entrust my spirit into your hands.
When the Roman officer overseeing the execution saw what had happened, he worshipped God and said,
Surely this man was innocent.
And when all the crowd that came to see the crucifixion saw what had happened, they went home in deep sorrow. But Jesus' friends, including the women who had followed him from Galilee, stood at a distance watching. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share the gospel.